asked for. I said, Lord, take that head right off me. I can handle it.
There's a ministry in that boldness. Because no, in all honesty. And I was like, but Lord, if he's wrong, then don't do it.
Yeah. We were all going to go to America when this was years ago. Like over 10 years ago or something like that. And the whole time I was thinking, why is this not happening? But you know when God is saying, hell, you ain't going there. What? I just knew. It would have been over. I wonder if I would have even made it back.
Jesse would have been Jesse.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well and blessed and growing in the things of God every day, like us, what we're trying to do. Today I've got my sister and my friend here, and we're basically just going to discuss about like sex, dating, that kind of thing. And we've got different opinions. We've got virgins, we've got people who believe in dating, and we've got people who, you know. But either way, we're celibate, virgin. And I did a video before.
Virgin.
I actually heard it's actually not celibate, it's abstaining. Apparently celibacy means sworn to not having sex, period, like nuns.
Really?
So we need to stop saying that, girl.
Oh, maybe that's why we go wrong.
We've been pronouncing, because celibacy is when you swear to just like priests and you know those people, they're sworn to celibacy. Oh my God,
so we're abstinent.
Abstaining.
Yeah, okay, so we're abstaining. Yeah. And basically in this video, I just want to talk about why we've chosen to make these decisions and why we think that, why we want to do this. Because I've done a video previously about dating and celibacy, and I was talking about my journey and how my life was before, and certain decisions that I made that, you know, wasn't necessarily wise or good, but it's brought me here today, and why I'm now really against dating. I am, and why I'm abstaining until marriage. So I just wanted to get basically just your guys' opinion about this kind of. You guys tell me why you're waiting.
Why I'm waiting?
Yeah.
It's so funny because I was actually thinking about this the other day. It's changed so many times.
Yeah.
Like originally I was waiting because I wanted to wait for my husband or whatever it is. Originally, when I was young, I was just waiting for my husband and all that kind of stuff. And if I'm honest, I think it's God who kind of like kept it for me, because I don't think that was a real reason. Because
as in right from the beginning you were waiting.
Yeah, when I was younger, my whole thing was I'm waiting for my husband. I don't know why I did it. It's literally by the grace of God, because obviously like I had sex when I was like 14. And
so you mean after you were 14 you felt like doing it?
Yeah. And so no, that was because you know that's what happened. Well, should I go back into that or no?
It's up to you.
Yeah. Okay. So I lost my virginity at 14.
It's 13.
No, it's 14. 14, yeah. And then at 15, I was like, I'm waiting for my husband. Mm. But it doesn't even make sense, because it's not like I had Christian friends and all my friends around me were doing it. Yeah. So I feel like
it's a desire that was.
Yeah, but it doesn't really. But it's a desire that was put in me. But then I think it's also God who kind of helped me to keep it. Do you know what I mean? Because I wasn't even friends with Rachel back. Like Rachel was my first Christian friend who brought me into the things of God and stuff like that. So I didn't necessarily have that around me. It just was. And then later on, I think I had to really make the decision again when I was like in my 20s, as in, okay, God, like sex is really dangerous, but everything surrounding sex. And I think for me, I used to always think about it, even in terms of like, you know, for example, physically, like catching an STI and all these different things. I was like, if that's what's physically happening, then spiritually what's happening? Do you know what I mean? Like it's so
that's quite deep to be that young. And
yeah, no, but this is in my 20s when I was thinking, yeah. And I was thinking, I was like, wow, that's because this is when like I'd become a Christian, I was around you guys and all this kind of stuff. So the spiritual aspect became known to me, like, wow, sex is such like a huge intimate thing, and like you're giving of yourself. Like it kind of started scaring me a little bit, like the thought the thought of like, even now when I think about it, like just sleeping with somebody who's not my husband, I'm like, that's so vulnerable.
Do you know what's so funny? I was thinking that the other day, because when I was doing my first video, I was talking about like how casual I took it.
Yeah.
Because once you start, it's like once you start, it doesn't really matter anymore. And I was taking it really casually. Then now I'm thinking, I can't even imagine laying down with someone that I'm not.
Yeah, it's so scary, like the idea.
And it also feels like I said illegal in my other video, but it feels like that. I feel like I'm doing something.
I guess
wrong.
it is spiritually illegal.
Yeah. So why did you decide to wait?
I don't think I did decide to wait. I think what I did, how can I explain it? I don't think I actually did wait. I think I did wait, but I mean, I don't think it wasn't like, I knew it was bad to do it, and because Steph, me and my sister's oldest, she's a virgin, and she just made a decision, like an ultimate decision, she's gonna wait, and I just copied her. And because I didn't have boyfriends and stuff like that, I just copied her because there wasn't even the option to do anything else. And plus I knew it was wrong anyway. I very much didn't, because for example, I had a lot of friends who would have boyfriends, and like when I met Nadia and stuff like that, and I never found their lives appealing, like at all.
That's really, like, you both said some things I'm going to respond to, but anyway, go on,
Like for some reason I just never found it appealing. What I did find appealing is just I don't know, I think just dressing up, because I was always like I was always like plus size, so I didn't really, the guys that I wanted didn't like me like that, so I wasn't really tempted in that area. But if I'm honest, I feel like it's just God who's been holding me this whole time. Opportunity just hasn't been there, because I've always said to them too, like, if the opportunity was there, I would have done it for sure. Like, that's the thing.
I think it's interesting though, for you to even say that it wasn't even appealing to you, is because it's not as if it was appealing to me, but do you know what it was? I never sat there and thought, I want to have it. It wasn't like that. It was more like it just happened. And in my other video, I was talking about girls who do other things, and they do the other nasty things, like, or not girls, or boys as well, anyone who's doing it. Like, the fact that you consider that pure, you can still consider it purity, is strange to me, because the only reason why having sex was so casual to me is because I started with the other things, and they all seem the same to me. That's why, to me, I would still say they're the same, except for one is, it's easy to get pregnant, even though you can get pregnant by doing the other things as well. But that was probably why it wasn't like a big deal to me. But I find it really weird that people can do those things and claim to be Christians and think it's okay when it's not okay. It's all wrong.
But for me, it wasn't. It's not sex that I didn't find appealing. It's their life.
Their lifestyle.
So it's like sleeping with somebody in a good setting wasn't unappealing. I don't think I don't know. I just knew it was wrong. Period. But I'm saying their lifestyle wasn't appealing to me, so that's why I never fell into it. But I also feel like it's also because it wasn't an option for me to be a part of that either. And because of our family life is quite like, we came from a Christian household. I very much knew I had friends who would come to me about God. So it was like, there was ask me about God and stuff like that. And they always wanted to be like my side. So that also helps, the fact that it was easy for me to not want that side.
But what was so appealing for me. That's
really?
Yeah, that's why.
What was appealing? That lifestyle?
Yeah, because remember the reason why I even went that way is because a friend of mine, who I'm not going to name, she was, doing it or whatever, and it was like, I was like, I want to do it. Do you know what I mean? And she was like, it was almost like a plan, as in we're going to do this thing. Everybody around me, they were doing it or whatever. And it's funny because the transition, because I was known as like, what's the word that they call?
Stush?
Yes, stush. Like, amongst my friends, like a Benny and them, they're like, not you, because I was just like this, like, don't touch me, like, guys, foreign thing. And so I heard about my friends were doing it and the way they were talking about it. It was just painted as this, like, cool thing. And I was like, I want to be a part of this. And obviously.
But, no, the thing is, it's like, with my friend at the time, she knew I was active. And sometimes I used to think, I don't want her to think that this is okay. And it was kind of, I always used to think that, so I never told her. And because I said in my other video, she had a friend who'd be like, oh, when are you going to do it, blah, 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 when is it going to happen? And I was like, this girl's lying to you. She's lying to you. She wished she had your virginity. She wished she could start again, but that people aren't talking about it. Because, like, friends who are encouraging you to do that, you should even really question. And I think I had another friend who you were talking about, and she used to be like to me, Gwen, like, please make sure that you wait. It's so good that you've waited and stuff like that. And I always appreciate that she did that. But because I don't understand. I think you're quite an evil person to even push that on someone, or question why they're doing it, because you gain so much more from waiting anyway. And when I started the other video, I initially was talking about the real reason why people wait, and I gave that example of that friend who, when we were in like mid-20s, I said, do you think you're going to wait until you get married? And she said, I might as well. She said something like, I'm nearly 30 now, I might as well. And then from that, I knew you're not going to wait. You're just waiting for the opportunity to do it. It just hasn't come. You might not want to freely go around and sleep with anyone, but you're not going to wait. And obviously she didn't wait. And my point is like, if you don't know why you're waiting, you're not going to wait. And that was one of the things that I wanted us to discuss today, because I think it's so important. I'm really, really big on like waiting. I'm big on people understanding why they're waiting, because I didn't understand. As you said, you were kind of just following Steph, and I was following her, but I'm not really. I think it's a middle child thing. We don't really follow. We kind of do our own thing and end up in trouble. And I needed to know why I was doing it. I didn't really understand why, but thinking now, if I did know why, I don't think I would have waited.
You wouldn't have. Okay, so as in it
wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered. Okay. So I have got no one to blame, because I was very much like, oh, I can handle everything. I can handle a broken heart. I can handle all this, like all this kind of stuff. So when you think that you can handle it, you don't care. And then I also said the first person I did it with was someone that I felt comfortable with, and we're still friends today. And he was a cool person. But what would you say now, being real Christians and being sold out? Like, what would you say? Why is it important to wait? Because I was also talking about the spiritual side of it as well, and the spiritual connection that you make when you're sleeping with someone, and all these connections that you're making with all these random people and the people they slept with, and you don't really know, as you said, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
I feel like there's still a lot of ignorance around the area, in the sense that I don't feel people... It's like, I'm different. Like, for example, you need to tell me something and I won't do it. I'm not someone who needs to try things. Like, if I know...
Now I'm that person.
Yeah, like, I never... Because when I was younger, I never understood, like... Because all my friends used to be like, no, you got to try and make up for yourself. And to me, like, I just didn't understand why. Like, if you tell me it's rubbish, it's like, that's enough for me to know. Girl. And like, yeah. And so, yeah, so when I used to hit... But I feel like... Even now, like, sometimes you do feel, especially because I've seen a lot, I don't have one friend that's a virgin, like, anymore. Like, as in, like, no, I don't know anybody else who's a virgin apart from my older sister. And you think they're fine. So, do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, what's the point? But obviously it's only you who tell, you regretted it for so long, so I already knew. Like, that was already off-putting. Like, to this day, you can still see she gets a bit of the shudders.
Yeah, like, I was like, girl, it's alright.
If I'm completely honest.
Saved by grace.
Saved by grace. But it's also the question of not even knowing truly. That's like, when you're talking, I'm also trying to learn why as well.
Yes,
do you get what I'm saying? Because it's almost like, that's what I say, it's something that I thought about recently. Like, I have it, and I was like, but do I actually know the real reason why? That's like, even as you're talking, I'm kind of like, oh, like,
no, but that's what I'm saying.
Insight.
I think that's why it's easier for me, because the kind of person I am, you just need to tell me. Even, like, I'm really not somebody, like, I don't even
I hope my future children are like that.
Like, I don't even need to feel it. You just need to tell me, and if I trust you, obviously, then even if you don't trust me, because if I know it's not, do you know what I mean? Even if I don't trust you, so it's not because I've got this profound, like, understanding of why to do it, because I can very much easily, I feel like, it was only recently that I had to speak to God and say, do you know what, Lord, not like I was ever gonna do it, but it's like I never really
Yeah.
told myself I was consciously going to stop
Yeah.
myself. So it was only recently where I was just like, okay, Lord, 'cause I always used to think like, oh, my husband's gonna be a Christian, so he can be the one to I've never put in place the safeguarding that would happen, as in like I'm not gonna stay out with you at night, and like I never really put that into place. So and I feel like a lot of things is like when I was younger, it was more of the beauty of you being the only one, being untouched, let's say. So that was kind of something that I prided myself on, the fact that, and I think because of you as well, you would always just be like, oh, she's just untouched. Like, you just felt, because I feel like... No, but that's what I'm saying, because you have to understand, like, all types of sexual sin comes with it makes you feel, it comes with disgust. Every type of sexual sin, whether you've watched pornography, just watched it, whether you've done something, it comes with, it makes you feel sick.
Yeah.
So if you've been touched, let's say, and you're looking at somebody, you're literally, it's almost like my friends idolized me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, they're just untouched. So it was kind of like, and then I think I had a dream one time, because I was just like saying, God, what is actually the big deal? And I think I had a dream I slept with someone, and I was like, when I woke up, I was like, nah, man.
Yeah, I think Steph even said something like that.
Yeah.
I think I was quite blessed in a way that God really, I didn't go through that. I never went through that, oh, I wish. I never, not even that, maybe because now I have a child, so it's kind of like, that'd be a bit weird for me to wish that I never, because I wouldn't have had a child.
And there's nothing
But I
interesting
never,
to look at.
Oh,
As in, like, who do you see who's completely weighted, like, you're like, oh yeah, that's a lie?
no, it's not even about that. It's not even about that. Because I'm awful. I believe in God. So I believe in His laws. I believe in everything that He says. So it's not even about, I'm not regretting that I did it. I mean, it's like, I feel like now I can explain why you should. And I'm okay with the fact that it happened. And I was saying in my other video, now looking back at how I was, I feel like I was desensitized.
Yeah.
I feel like I wasn't there. All the times that it happened and how I treated myself, I wasn't mentally there. I think I shut down. So I've never been through that, like, oh, I wish I never did it, or it wasn't really like that, because now I have a clear understanding, and I do feel like God has forgiven me, and I feel like I have a chance to start all over again.
I feel like He has.
He has.
The Bible says so.
No, He has, but you know, some people can still feel condemned about that.
Yeah, people literally hold on like years back. Like for me, it's not even necessarily about that. I think my regret was also like, oh, you know, when you're going through issues in life and then you just root it back, like, oh, that's why I went through this, that's what and it's kind of like you're thinking, if that part of my life was erased and I would be dealing with this today or whatever, that's how I felt.
I'll be honest, there's certain guys that I wish I never went near. That's it. That's why. But for me, denial. Like,
Oh my God.
but it's the stuff like that. But it's never like, I'm not even talking about just sleeping with. I'm talking about like dating or just encountering, and even allowing myself to be put in that. But what I wanted to say, the reasons, as you guys said, you do have to sit down and think about why are you not supposed to do it. The fact of the matter is, there are laws that God has set in place that He has designed for certain things, and sex is one of them. There are covenants that are being made all over the place, and soul ties. And I was even saying in my video that when you actually sleep with someone, you are taking stuff that is in them as well. So the anger that you never had, you've now taken it from someone else. All these other things that you're taking, so it's not just fluids and stuff that you're exchanging. It's spiritual stuff, and it's something that shouldn't be messed around with. Because I was watching some YouTuber, and she's celibate, abstaining, and she had one slip up. And I'm saying this, the Bible says, be careful, those who think they're standing, be careful that you don't fall. I'm not sitting here saying that I will never fall, but I'm saying I will not fall. I won't sleep with anyone until I get married. And I was thinking, like, what caused you to fall? And all I think is, you don't really understand why you're doing it. Why you're abstaining. Because if you really fully understand why you're abstaining, you make sure you're not seeing that person after 7 o'clock, that person's not at the house, you're not doing stuff that you're alone. So it's not about your self-control that you have, it's about the wisdom, setting boundaries, the boundaries and the wisdom that you have that, look, I'm not that strong. I need to set these boundaries. And I think it's so important that people understand why they're doing things. Understand that God loves you. He loves us more than we can ever imagine. And everything that he requires is because he cares about us. You know?
Yeah, but that's what I always say, like, because I always used to tell Nadia that even being a virgin is not even about being strong. It's not about being in a room with a guy and just being so strong that you're not going to sleep with them. It's literally just not putting yourself in a position. Yeah. And I feel like most things in life is about that. Like even things that we go through in life. The reason why I never went through the same things as like my other friends, I just didn't put myself in that position. Yeah. I remember like, but then I feel like these girls, I feel like they all had like, it's so funny I'm talking about like you're not there, but not just you, that's why. But it's like, I just feel like you all just had like a kind of like I don't care mentality in terms of like you can just do whatever
that's
you
literally
want,
what I had,
whatever.
Right?
Yeah, so it's like, because I remember that time where I finally went with them because they kept telling me to go to London with them, kept telling me to go to London.
That's what I said, once you meet those London boys, it's a wrap, it's a wrap, it's a wrap.
And then I went to London with them because they were always talking about, like, not even you actually, one of our other friends was just like, you don't know about this London. Mind you, me and my family, like, we go to London all the time. Me and my sister used to go to London all the time. Every weekend would be in London. But they would act like I've never been to this type of London that they go to. So I went with them one time and I couldn't believe what we were doing. Like till this day, I generally can't, but Gwen, you don't even understand how they would hype up these trips to London. Like Gwen, I thought, that was one time I was like, I need to go. Like I remember even wishing like I was slim so I could be more bold to just go to all their fun things because I was like, it just seemed so fun. And then when I got there, I just couldn't believe what it was. We literally just stood on the street and wait for guys to talk to us. And I genuinely couldn't believe it. And then I was like, okay, it's time to go home. What? I was like, no. So what I'm trying to say is, the reason why I say it's about putting yourself in that position, they would generally put themselves in an open position where it's like, do whatever you want, like as in you meet guys and then you do whatever you want. And I'm saying the only reason why I didn't fall is because I didn't put myself in those positions and I didn't have it in love for it. Do you know what I mean? So it's literally not about, that's what I'm saying. That's why you shouldn't idolise virgins, you shouldn't idolise people because you think they're different from you. The only thing that makes them different is about positioning. And like where you should put yourself and where you don't put yourself. Nobody's stronger than somebody else. I don't care who you are. The flesh is weak, so...
The flesh is weak, because you're right. I'm at the moment, I'm not dating anyone. I'm not talking to anyone. So it's easy to say, like, oh... it's easy for me to remain a virgin if I started off like this and continued like this. And it's also about how you see yourself, because what were you saying about, like, it's about not having respect for yourself. Well, it started off, for me, of course, if you're going to just sleep with someone, there's a lack of, you know, respect.
I think it's hard though, because it's like, it's easy to respect yourself when you're forced to respect yourself. As in, like, I was forced to respect myself because God protected me from guys. So that, imagine if I was like, had 10 million guys at my door. Do you think I would? Do you actually think? So I'm saying, imagine if you got guys, if you've got nobody telling you as well. Let's say you don't come from a family where people are telling you about waiting, like holding yourself and like waiting. No one's a Christian, right? And then you've got loads of guys at your door. What would actually make you? It's only God. If God has got his hand on you to stop certain things happening, why on earth would you not? Do you know what I mean? And the reason why, even with me, it was literally God's hand, because I don't care how big you are, everybody can sleep with somebody. And do you know what I mean? And I was always pretty as well. And guys used to always,
ugly you are.
Exactly, even how ugly you are as well. Everyone can sleep with somebody. So that's how I was like, because I used to get guys who liked me, just not guys I liked. So I'm saying, so it's like, it was literally the hand of God that would literally, it's like,
sorry, it's just my whole...
Oh, sorry. It's literally like God would just block. It's like I had a shield around me all the time, which came with other things, because it used to make me feel like, oh, well, that's not fair. Do you know what I mean?
I'm glad you said that. The hand that God has put on people, like clearly he did for you, 1,000. He put a hedge of protection over me. Facts. Obviously, when I got to a certain age, I asked for, I said, Lord, take that head right off me. I can handle it. And he took the, and the thing is, it's like, when I say the hedge,
It's crazy what people
God,
do.
yes,
Yeah.
God protected, and He protects people, because you're right. Like, why would you wait if God isn't there? God isn't protecting you. And I, like, no guy would talk to me. I wasn't really interacting with guys, like all these kind of things. I think it was around 16, 17 when I reached college, and I was like, God, I'm ready. Take it off. I'm ready. I can handle it. Took that off, and then that's when I started interacting with guys. I hadn't slept with anyone until like early 20s, but I was still like doing stuff. I was still talking to guys because I stupidly asked for that hedge.
So why did you like what? Like, because when I hear people, because like I know Nadia was the first person I ever heard that to ask God to take a hedge off.
The hedge is,
and then I heard Gwen pray. My thing is, it's not even like that boldness to ask God.
It's actually thinking you can handle it, isn't it?
No, but to me that's like different level.
But you have to
There's some
understand,
prayers I can never make.
What you're saying is so respectable that I can't even believe it. Because that's why I don't sit here regretting things, because if I didn't do the things I did, I don't know who that person is.
Yeah.
I don't know the person that would be like, oh, I'm not bold enough to say that. So the fact that you didn't even have, do you understand what I'm saying? The fact that you were so confident in the things of God, so confident in certain things that you wouldn't even ask. Do you understand what I can't explain?
No, I get what you mean, but it's funny because I see it differently. I feel like there's a ministry in that boldness. Because in all honesty, because I genuinely used to be like, do you not have a fear of like? It's almost like it's crazy to me because for you to ask for it to be removed, which means you believe it's there.
Yes, yeah.
But then to ask for it to be removed, it's like I just didn't really understand it. Like,
that's
me,
why we chose the life we chose. Clearly.
No,
Can't judge me, mate.
No, it's not. I'm not
No, I'm
judging
joking.
at all. I'm saying it's like.
But for me, it was more like there was an arrogance for me.
100%.
Because, for example, the hedge, it wasn't necessarily a hedge. It was for me. It was when I dated a guy I dated. My prayer was heartbreak. What's that like?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like to me, when people talk about heartbreak, I was like, no, I can handle like that. Let me have my fun. Like I'm different. It's not gonna hit me the same, and it really hit me. Do you know what I mean? Like it really hit me.
No, but that's the thing. Like, if I see anyone who has like a heartbreak when I was younger, I was like, oh, weak,
that's what
get
I'm
over
saying,
it.
yeah.
So you think, and even you start even wanting to have that. It was more like I wanted to experience having the boyfriend. I wanted to experience the domestics. I wanted to experience the love-hate relationship, and yes, I experienced it. And it's probably one of the worst things that's ever happened to me in my life.
That's so funny because I've always like I feel like everybody it just shows like everybody is for their testimony because it's like everything has their own line of testimonies, and like what I went through built another testimony. It has another way because like, I remember being out. I always knew like there was this hedge around me, but I remember we went to Brussels one time. Yeah, like we went to Brussels one time, and like I feel like that night was just a dry night. I don't know what was happening. Then the club wasn't dry; it was rammed. Oh no, it was dry. Do you remember we couldn't get a seat, so that's when we went to Safari. The other
yeah.
As in, like nothing was really popping. I was like, Lord, in my head, I was like, Lord, I want to be the one to bring the drinks in tonight. And I literally said a prayer to God because I would tell God about everything like I'll be like, Lord, listen, it's going to come through me. I was like, I want to bring the guy in today. And I remember when we went into Safari, we were there just waiting, like, because this is when we used to drink and party. And obviously as girls, you know that when you go to the club, like, guys buy your drink. I remember we were waiting there for ages, and then we just like, oh, guys, should we just leave? We were literally walking out the door, and do you remember the guy... Yeah. Literally walked past to the point where, now thinking about it makes it kind of sad, but like there was a guy, he literally walked past all my friends because I was the first one walking out and tapped me. I moved to the side because I automatically just thought somebody wants to get through. Like it didn't even occur to me that was it, and he tapped me on the side and then he was like, why are you leaving? And I was like, what? Well, I did, but I want to make you guys cry. That's not my story now, guys. Like, come on. And then after that, I was just like, and then he was like, he had like a good physique. It was my first time with a guy. It's not the first time a guy has liked me. It was the first time a guy like that. He had the good body, like, he was like banging. And I was like, yeah. And then I was literally like, what's the point I was making?
The hedge.
Yeah, that's the closest thing that I'd ever have to like, Lord, can you just do that for me? Because it wasn't a hedge, but it was more like, Lord, just, you know, hook your girl out tonight, you know what I mean? So I'd always make little prayers like, well, that was the first time I asked like that kind of prayer, but I'd just be like, Lord, I'd always think in my head like, Lord, I wanna, you know, meet a guy, even if it's not my husband, just for a bit of entertainment tonight. But I was like, but Lord, if he's wrong, then don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so it's like, so obviously I moved to America, and you know, America, the guys were loving me. I'm talking basketballers, I'm talking rappers, I'm talking
how you survive? How would it be?
To this day.
No, I'm telling you.
And do you know what's so sorry to interrupt you? When we were going to go to America, we were all going to go to America when this was years ago, like over 10 years ago or something like that. And the whole time I was thinking, why is this not happening? But you know when God is saying, hell, you ain't going there. What? I just knew. It would have been over. I wonder if I would have even made it back.
Greta, Jessie would have been Jessie.
It's the land of, because let's say for example, when you like, there's other areas. Let's say for example, when I was in London, I used to smoke a bit of weed or whatever it is when I was younger. I moved to America. Not only is it weed, now it's this, now it's that. So everything gets maximized over there. So the fact that I was there with guys, and I'm talking about guys with money who literally were there like, I want to change, I want to marry you, as in like ring proposals, everything. And what I'm trying to say is, I can't even when I look back, I can't say it was any bit of me, because it wasn't like I was some like, you know, my reason was waiting.
Because you didn't sleep with anyone there.
No, nothing happened. And to a point where I remember even going to a party with these women, Cameroonian women, and they were just talking about me and my cousin. It was a party with my cousin's friends, and then all these older women were just there talking about me. Do I have a boyfriend? This one I was like 17, and then I was like, oh no, I'm waiting till marriage to have sex, and they were like, he's gonna cheat on you, as in like, no man is gonna wait. No man is gonna wait. And so it's like, so I still had those things being fed to me, but it still doesn't make sense why I never still had sex.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's literally God's hand on my life.
No,
which,
Yeah,
especially in America.
Because I feel like it's so funny because, you know, obviously when you dated that guy, V, we didn't date him. Well, yeah, you were on a date. And you know, I had that dream where it was like, he's going to scatter your whole life.
Oh, yeah.
And it just shows, like, because I don't know why you think you're so resilient, because there's a reason why God allowed that to cut off, because if anything was going to be your downfall, it would have been a man. Do you know what I mean? Like, in the past, that's why it got cut off so quick, because your downfall would have been a guy. What?
No, it's true, because it's so funny. God does... He really does protect, and he helps you when it's necessary to help in certain situations that you can't get out of. And I mean, like, even the fact that you were still talking to guys, you were going out with them, but he still gave you help in terms of, well, he did something to make you not. And I know he does that when it's for a purpose. Like, even with the guy that I was before, we were living together, and when it got to a point of celibacy, don't live with your boyfriend, never ever. Live with your husband, not your boyfriend, not your fiance. I will never even understand that. At the time, before we even moved in, I remember obviously this person had an agenda, and he said, "Oh yeah, I just moved down to Brighton and I'll move in with Gwen," and then Anita said to him, she would never move in with a guy. She said, that's one thing that Gwen will never do. And it's something that I've always been like, I will never move in and become a fake wife to someone, never. And obviously it happened. And when I decided to go celibate, he wasn't celibate, or abstaining, it was just like, the Holy Spirit really helped. And it was like, before, when we started, it was like really difficult for me. Not because I was so desperate to do it, but more because I was scared of losing him. I was scared of it not working. I was scared of him thinking that I was just not desirable. And he would even say like manipulative things like, oh, I miss the Gwen back in the day. Like, I miss, like, that Gwen was fun. Like,
that's one thing I couldn't stand, and he was always trying to keep. I've never seen a transformation like this girl. Like, what God has done in her life, she's transformed. As in, like, even in her posture, even in her body language. And I've never met someone who was trying to keep you there. That's why I'd get so angry. Like, you remember even that time in Birmingham when you were wearing that dress?
Yeah.
And I was so livid. I was like, you can't wear that dress. And he was like condoning it. And I was like, you're trying to keep her where he found her.
Yes.
And I was like, you're not.
Yes. And But when I say the Holy Spirit helped completely, because it's like what happened was, it's like I felt it happening. The desire to please him left, couldn't care less, which made him really angry and made him feel. Then he agreed to do it with me, but then there'd be times where he was really frustrated and stuff. At some point, he became quite supportive, but it didn't last, obviously. And then it was just, I stopped caring. I stopped caring more and more, and then it just stopped happening. It just never happened again. And I was really okay with it. There was sometimes where the devil would try, like, oh, you're not desirable anymore. You're not even, because that's what I relied on before, before I really got serious with God. You relied on your looks and all this kind of thing. And then it just eventually stopped. And I'm not saying that if you move in with someone, or you put yourself in stupid situations, God's not going to help you if you've done that. God did it for that time because of my testimony, but it's not something that I think if I went to pick up a man now, he's not going to give me the grace because I've done a stupid thing. But yeah, is there anything I just care that people understand why and want to seek why, searching the Word of God or the Word of God, and just trusting that God's intention is only for you and it's to benefit you.
I think you press on it a little bit, but even like other acts of sexual acts, it's all the same thing. It's just other things have bigger repercussions, but in terms of physically, but it's all impure.
In the eyes of God,
In the eyes of God, it's all impure, and it all leads to worse and worse things. Do you know what I mean? You start doing this, and it's like even having the mindset of like, oh, we can just do this all the time and all the time and all the time. All of it is defiling you anyway. So
that's the thing. It's slowly doing something to your soul, and this is something that I tried to tell that girl, and she was pretending to listen.
Oh yeah.
And I was trying to, because I knew that's another thing. There's something that happens when you lose your virginity. When she lost her virginity, I knew it. There's an attitude. There's another person who I knew who was meant to be waiting, and I saw the change. When the change in the attitude, the change. Steph said that she knew when I don't really feel like she did, but she said that she knew when I did. She said
I
was
clearly
different.
didn't know because I thought it happened.
Oh my gosh, yes!
I don't really feel like there was a massive, because I feel like I blocked everything off. I don't think anyone really noticed a change. But yeah, things are happening physically and spiritually, and God will honour you waiting and obeying His word. Any last words?
Can I just quickly say, because I remember I also hated the, because I was plus size, I didn't like being seen as cute. Because automatically it's like, it would make me feel like you felt like I couldn't be with somebody. So it's like, it made me want to be more like, I used to love talking about certain topics and stuff like that because I didn't want to, I didn't like cute. And truthfully, we're all supposed to be cute because that's our purity and it's innocence, right? And I feel like just don't be ashamed of being cute, basically, to all the girls who are away, and don't be ashamed, and that pureness that you have in waiting is how it's supposed to be, and it's ordained by God. Do you know what I mean? And you will blossom into a woman when your husband does that for you.
That's really
Do you
nice.
know what I mean?
And that's really important. I hope people who are waiting understand that you're in a great position and God is proud of you and there's a reward at the end, and to really understand why. And for those who haven't waited, there is hope. God is faithful.
Living testimony.
Yeah, living I don't really sit there crying about it because I know how faithful God is, and I know I'm not behind. There's repercussions to sin.
Yeah.
Facts. That's just how it is. It's not a punishment, it's just repercussions. That's what happens if you sin. And fornication is sin. The Bible says that you don't even go to heaven. You can't enter the gates of heaven if you're a fornicator. Fornicators don't. So if you're a past fornicator, you're no longer a fornicator, so there's a place for you in heaven. Amen. But if you're fornicating now, I used to hate messages like this back in the day. Oh,
why?
If you're talking about just who aren't going to heaven, you'll just be like, well, you're just judgment. Do you know what I mean? That spirit. And it's weird because I think back to when I was younger and I used to hear you guys talk about things. I was just so self-righteous.
Yeah.
Judgmental. Like, always used to be like that because it's a fear and like, oh, you don't know what it's really like. And I also believed I was saved. I was saved, but I wasn't surrendered. And that's why I admire when you say stuff like that, like even having the fear to step out, to take the hedge off.
Oh, yeah.
I admire stuff like that because there's no way I would have had that mindset. That wasn't me, and I don't even understand the concept. I understand it now, obviously, but I didn't at the time. But yeah, that's all I really want to say. But there's hope for everyone through Christ. And yes, remember, thank you so much for watching. And I hope you watch our next video. Well, my next video. Hopefully you'll see these guys again. And remember, many are called, few are chosen. So be chosen. Bye.
I know you're